Once I've spent sufficient amount of time knowing myself, I need to understand my behavior. Now, understand that this is a very important dimension, because consider the scenario where parents tell you that beware of dogs and dogs bite. Now what you do is that, as children, everyone has seen that children love dogs. Small children, they all love dogs, but because of this constant parental interference and line of thought, what happens is that as these small children grow into their teens, you will see that they are scared of dogs. So this is what happens when parents induce their behavior and their thinking process, and when this teen goes on to become an adult, he influences others to stay away from dogs, thereby deriving others of a very meaningful companionship with dogs. This is what I mean in a nutshell by behavior and how behavior can influence others. So we need to know our own behavior, and for knowing our own behavior we have to be able to we have to be able to define ourselves and the behavior that we display. Very often we think that we are being compassionate on some particular scenario, but others might feel that we are really not being compassionate. Take this particular instance. What do I mean by behavior? Let me take another instance. This is a particular instance where we as a group had gone for rafting, and we set up these rafts. The job was to set up the rafts and put them on a flowing Kaveri river, and all these rafts would be then and spend time and see that who reaches from point A to point B the earliest. So there were these teams which were on this, 4 of us who were balancing on different rafts. Now as we went around the river, obviously it was a very pleasurable experience. It was like we enjoyed the rapids, we enjoyed the currents, and the rafts were being balanced dynamically. It was a very fruitful and loving experience that we were all going through. Suddenly one person sitting on the raft shouted, there are crocodiles. Now, having said this, that there are crocodiles, what happened was that every individual started getting scared about it. They started lifting their feet up from here and onto the rafts, and the rafts destabilized and they then fell, and the individuals are in the water. The person who shouted out the alarm also fell. He had a great laugh. A behavior expert was standing here, and that behavior expert observed this, and he remarked to the person that who had shouted out the alarm that you have a streak of cruelty in you. Now this is the behavior of the person who shouted the alarm, and that's perhaps true. Now when the behavior expert points this out to the individual, it is for that individual now to take it and try to modify it or stay the way it is. So it's very important for an individual to know his own behavior, and when he knows his own behavior, then very often he can then look at modifying it if needed, or live with it if he doesn't want to change it. But the first step is to know the behavior. So for knowing behavior, you need to take inputs from, of course, self, a lot of introspection, friends and well-wishers, and experts in behavior. These need not be necessarily psychologists or psychiatrists and all. They can also be good senior management people who have no reason to give biased inputs to you. Seek out that expert in your life. So what are the kind of inputs that you need? How do my friends define me? Do they see me reliable? Do they see me unreliable? How do my friends define me? That is the first input you need. Those who do not want to be friends with me, how do they look at me? What do they see in me? Why don't they want to be friends with me? I think we have gone through this kind of scenarios in college. Those who trust me, what are their expectations of me? Those who do not trust me or mistrust me, why do they do so? In the work environment, I'm sure you'll be able to come across several such instances: who trust you, who doesn't trust you, someone who thinks you are doing politics, someone whereas you might not really be doing it. Who is it I want to spend time with? And what does that person like in me? Who wants to spend time with me? And what does the individual see in me? What makes me feel bad? What makes my heart weep? Though I might be putting on a brave face, but what is it that really shatters me? What delights me? And kind of, really feel happy. It's just like, when an aircraft is taking up and the engine is on full throttle, I really feel very good about it. What are the memories I carry with me? The earliest one, the most fond ones. Which are the events which define me in my life, which happened, which define me? Which are the fears that I have got deep down? And what am I really looking for in my life? Again, these inputs need to be taken from by self, by friends, by experts, and you need to be open to it and try to see what emerges out of it. Having known yourself, having known your behaviors, and perhaps spending 2 to 3 months on all this, you'll be in a better position to go forth in this behavior transformation process. To download the workbook, go to the METL website and just click on the links and download it. And all the best for the journey.